In 2007, on a freezing December night in Milwaukee, a police officer on routine patrol made a decision that would quietly echo through the years. He found a newborn, wrapped in a thin towel, shivering on the back steps of an abandoned building. No note, no name, just silence and a heartbeat. Most officers might have waited for backup. He didn't. He scooped the baby into his arms and whispered, "I've got you." What he didn't know was that this tiny life would one day save his. Yes, his. But how? And when? This isn't just another story about duty. It's about destiny, woven through two lives that had no reason to ever cross paths again. But they did, 15 years later, in the most unexpected way. Hit like, subscribe, and let's go. Officer John Bryant had patrolled Milwaukee's 3rd Ward for nearly 15 years. He knew every alley, every flickering streetlight, every face behind every corner store. His mornings started the same: coffee, black, no sugar, and a slow walk to his cruiser as the city yawned itself awake. He wasn't the loud type, more steady than sharp. A man who believed in doing the job right, quietly. He'd seen enough to know when something felt off. But that winter of 2007, nothing seemed unusual. The cold had come early, but crime was low, streets were calm, and John had just filed for vacation time, planning to finally take his wife up to Door County for Christmas. It felt peaceful, predictable, safe. But life has a way of knocking when you're least ready to answer. It was just after 11 p.m. when Officer Bryant noticed something strange. Most nights in December, Milwaukee's back alleys stayed deserted, too cold for wandering. But tonight, a motion sensor behind an old bakery flickered on. Just a flash, then darkness. He slowed the cruiser. Maybe a raccoon, maybe nothing. But something tugged at him. That old instinct. He parked, stepped out, boots crunching over frozen gravel. Then a sound, barely there. Like a whimper, soft and broken. He followed it to the loading dock, flashlight trembling slightly in his hand, not from fear, but from the cold. There, nestled against a rusted metal door, was a bundle. A towel. Moving. Breathing. His breath caught. This wasn't a call on the radio. This was real. A life. And something told him this night wasn't going to end in any report he'd ever filed before. John knelt down, heart thudding louder than the city around him. The towel was damp, too thin for a night this cold. As he peeled it back, his breath caught again, a newborn. No older than a few hours. Purple lips. Tiny fists trembling. And something else. Tucked beside the baby, nearly frozen solid, was a hospital bracelet. No name. Just a date. December 14th. Today. But no nearby hospital had reported a missing child. No calls. No alerts. The alley was silent again, too silent, like it had been waiting. John looked around. No footprints, no voices, just streetlight shadows flickering like ghosts across brick. He radioed for medical, voice tight, then stood still for a long moment, holding that child against his chest. The kind of stillness you feel before a storm. He didn't know why, but it felt like someone had left this baby for him. Specifically him. The hospital took the baby in, labeled her Jane Doe, and started the usual process. But something kept gnawing at John. Protocol said his job was done, but he couldn't walk away. That bracelet, no barcode, no patient ID, just a handwritten number, 82613. It didn't match any hospital records. Against orders, he took a photo and started making calls. Dead ends. Then, during a quiet moment in dispatch, a nurse called him back. Nervous. Quiet. That code. It matches a birth from earlier today. But the mother was listed as deceased. John froze. The room felt colder than the streets outside. "What do you mean deceased?" he asked. "She died during childbirth," the voice whispered. "But we never found the baby." That was the moment everything changed. This wasn't just abandonment. It was disappearance. And someone, somewhere, didn't want that baby found. John couldn't sleep. The hospital's cold facts echoed in his head like a siren. A mother who died giving birth, a baby who vanished without a trace, and no official report filed. Something was wrong. Deeply wrong. He returned to the alley the next night, retracing his steps. That's when he noticed it. A surveillance camera. Rusty, forgotten, but still wired. He pulled the footage, hands trembling. At 9:43 p.m., a black sedan appeared. Headlights off. A figure stepped out, carefully placed the baby by the door, then disappeared into the dark. The timestamp? Less than 20 minutes before John arrived. His gut twisted. This wasn't desperation, it was precision. Planned. Executed. He wasn't a savior, he was part of a cover-up. And the worst part? No one seemed to be looking for that car. Or that person. It felt like he was the only one who cared. The only one who knew. 2 days later, John was called into the captain's office. The footage? Gone. Wiped from the station server. No explanation. No backup. Just a cold stare and a warning. Drop it, Bryant. It's above your pay grade. That night, as he drove home, headlights appeared in his rearview mirror too close, too long. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. One text, stop asking questions. His hands tightened on the wheel. He wasn't imagining this. Someone was watching. Protecting a secret. But why? Why a baby? Why a dead mother with no record of next of kin? Then it hit him, the code. 82613. It wasn't just a hospital tag. It was part of a sealed case number. Classified. Government sealed. He was no longer just a cop. He was a threat to someone. And now, for the first time in his career, John Bryant was scared. 3 days later, John came home to find his front door ajar. No signs of forced entry. Nothing stolen except one thing, the printout of the hospital code. Every other paper untouched. He rushed to his safe, and the flash drive with the backup footage was gone. His hand shook as he called dispatch, but the line was dead. Not disconnected. Jammed. Then came the knock. Not at the front, but the back. He grabbed his off-duty weapon, heart pounding, and opened the door to find a young woman. Early 20s. Pale, scared, familiar. In her hand, the hospital bracelet. You don't know me, she whispered, but I think you saved me once. It didn't make sense. The baby? No, it couldn't be. Not yet. Not this grown. But her eyes were the same. For the first time in days, John felt something other than fear. He felt purpose. She was the baby, grown now, adopted by a family in Minnesota. She'd found John after years of searching, through sealed records, anonymous tips, and finally, that hospital code. 82613 wasn't just a case number, it was her mother's badge ID. Her mother hadn't died alone. She was a whistleblower, a nurse who tried to expose an illegal adoption ring and paid the price. Her baby, this girl, was hidden, protected, smuggled out by someone inside the system who trusted only one man to find her, Officer John Bryant. The bracelet was planted. The alley was chosen. He wasn't in the wrong place at the right time, he was the plan. Together, they took their evidence to a retired judge, the only one who still owed John a favor. Investigations reopened. Names came out. People were arrested. For the first time in years, John felt clean. Whole. But it wasn't over yet. John retired the following spring. Quietly. No press, no medals. Just a folded uniform, a firm handshake, and a lingering silence. But something inside him had shifted. He still visited the alley once a year, December 14th. Left a single candle. And she? The girl he once cradled in the cold? She became a lawyer. One of the good ones. Fighting for voices no one hears. Their story never made the headlines. But maybe it wasn't meant to. Maybe it was meant for you. Because here's the truth, children disappear every day. And not every child gets found. So the question is, if it were you who found her that night, would you have stopped? Or would you have driven on, telling yourself it's someone else's problem? Think about that. Then hit like, share this story, and tell us in the comments, what would you have done?